There we go. How's it going, Ratish? I was working on some illustration stuff today. Just working on a few pictures. Every now and then it's kind of like it's just a good thing to do every now and then. Just be like, okay, working on a lot of comic stuff, and then like transition over to something else. Because what I kind of do is kind of work in bulk consistently. So I'll finish a whole process before I go ahead and do anything else. But yeah, I'm probably gonna work on this a little bit on stream today, and probably some other ones I have prepared. And I'm mainly just cleaning up this line art, honestly, and probably getting it ready to be kind of experimented with color-wise on here. And then I'll probably transition over to the comic stuff again. So, 1 second. And of course, the fireworks are there. But okay. Actually, let me also turn my notifications up just a little bit. That way, if anything important happens, I will hear about it. Okay. But yeah, how's it going, everyone? And welcome back to the stream. I actually feel weird. Why does this feels like it's able to see more than it should? But that's okay. Alright. Sounds okay. Cool. Okay. So, there we go. Got this there, got that there. Cool. But yeah, so I've been kind of doing my technique and whatnot that I use to kind of clean up pencil work and stuff like that. I also kind of drew this already, and then I got some good tips from a professional artist, another professional artist. And I wanted to go ahead and rework what I could. I don't think my technique is as good as I'd like it to be. So, like, when I was working on this, I know that the paper that I was working on kind of was able to see certain things too easily. So I knew that if I wanted to, I don't know, sell this as an original or something like that, which most of my illustrations, or all of my illustrations, will be possible to sell. I wanted to be able to do that, so I was like, well, I want to make sure this is nice and neat and together. So I didn't want to make as many adjustments on it, because you'd be able to see both of those things together. Yeah, Artist, I hope you're doing well today. Gonna hurry up and try to work on this a bit faster. Worked on 2 others today. Plan on doing like some rough passes on what the color potential could possibly be, along with the values and stuff. That way I can eventually finish these and get more illustration work out, honestly. Oh. Okay, so this is supposed to be not there actually. So it'll be higher up. But yeah, this is Asajj Ventress, one of my favorite characters from the animated series Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Really dig this character. She has a decent character arc in the show, and I left the show definitely want to know more about her, which, in my opinion, always is a good thing, you know. I don't know much beyond, like, I don't know like a lot of stuff. I'm like a super fan. I don't know who the voice actor is and all that type of stuff offhand, but I feel like everybody involved with that particular show did a really solid job with Ahsoka, and also a lot of the other characters as well, but mainly Ahsoka, since they put a lot of attention on her, and obviously Asajj Ventress, since I think I wasn't a fan until this version. Alright, and we still got fireworks, you know, it's cool. Yeah, I had to redraw this foot here. I didn't actually redraw the shadow underneath the foot, but I redrew the foot to make it more in line with where she was supposed to be stepping, or how she was supposed to be stepping. Okay with that. Okay. Interesting line here. I think it should be here. But yeah, I use the same technique for oh my goodness. I use the same technique for my comic pages that I use on my illustrations when I'm scanning things in. I can definitely still explain that if anyone has any questions about it. But it's in all my previous videos as well. But it's not too lengthy. It's really I don't know, I feel like it's a really good process to get really clean line work if you're scanning something in. Still don't do everything fully digital, so I like to be able to have something physical to sell. I guess in a way that slows me down, but it also makes my I would say it makes some of the stuff that I get to work on unique to some degree, I guess. Like basically if I do enough illustrations, it won't just be a print that you'll be able to buy. You can actually buy the physical. More than likely, if there is an illustration that I've done, there is something physical aspect-wise to it, unless it's very rare. Like, I haven't really done a bunch of illustrations that, in my opinion, are like worked on really hard. unless they're very rare. But yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna be probably finishing this traditionally after I figure out what the mock colors are gonna be like, and I'll figure out how close I can get to that. I'll have an ink version of this and a color version with that as well. If you guys would like to see an example of this, it's kind of be like if you know who Bruce Timm is, I kind of got the idea from what he was doing, where he has a pencil version, an ink version, and a color version of all his work. And by being able to do it that way, he can also technically sell it for a little less than what he would be able to sell it like incrementally, because like it's not a full complete picture with everything on that one. You can take one image and sell it 3 times and sell it for less money. So more people can own his art, essentially, and have a piece of it. I like that idea, so that's what I'm gonna do. The fireworks, just letting you know I'm here now. Yeah, they really do. Like, if there's no fireworks in the summer and it's close to July, shoot, I'm pretty sure they're gonna have fireworks after July. That means that I'm not me. The person on stream isn't me, you know, and something happened. Because we know that there's usually fireworks. Either that or I moved, right? It's one of those. Yeah, how's it going, Ballpoint? How have you been today? Alright. Hey, how's it going, Atomic Lunchbox? That's a freaking cool name. How come you guys have such cool names? What's happening? Yeah, how's it going today? Just working on this fan art picture of Asajj Ventress. I think it's looking okay so far. And we got the fireworks, you know. Ballpoint says, okay, just chilling. That's good. It's good when you can do that and kind of relax. Yeah. Trying to clean up this joint so that I can eventually make some color and value passes at it, but I'm taking my time to some degree. Still enjoy this picture. Though it's already feeling, well, it is actually. It's around the halfway point of the year. I still feel like the year for me is still somewhat just starting. Wonder if I would have felt that way if I didn't take that break in May, but that break was needed. Okay, for the most part, this stuff is pretty smooth. Check around these edges as well. It's really, I don't know, it's really nice to finally be able to start doing more fan art stuff. I usually always feel like the stuff that I really like, I wouldn't be able to like produce something that really encapsulates how I feel about that story or that character correctly. But I guess the older I get, And the better I get with like how I feel with things in general, I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with trying to tackle that now. Like for the most part, I just didn't do fan art a lot at all. It's like every once in a blue moon I would attempt to do it. And it would always be things where, you know, I felt like I could have did better or something. But when you really like something, you really feel something towards like media or character or something like that, it's hard to kind of feel satisfied by like one depiction of that character. You often, I think, go with the one you feel like most accurately depicts them, or you try to do something a little different from what everyone else is doing, because you see like everyone's picking this one image or this one pose, and you're like, you know, you're an artist, so you're trying to be different. This look for Asajj is kind of based off of her look in the Clone Wars, but also it was when she did the whole Night Sisters episode. I really like that, and it's also based off of a combination of that and also this. I think it's called Star Wars Legends or something, or a collection thingy. It was a sideshow collectible type thing where someone had done this design. And I was just like, oh, that's a really cool design. So I did a derivative of that plus the thing from the show. And yeah, I like the moment in the show when she's like on like her birth planet and essentially back with her sisters and everything, and they're about to go against General Grievous, I think. That was pretty cool. It's a pretty cool episode. It's also kind of sad. Make this a little better. I'm kind of prioritizing the overall, I guess the outline of certain shapes. Since this stuff is pencil, there's definitely going to be some sketchiness here and there, but if I clean it up enough, it'll be a little bit more clear. And that's what I want. And I'm still going to use this as an underdrawing. Count Dooku? He was a part of it, but General Grievous was also there. Because Dooku was actually being, what was it called? They were using some type of voodoo thing with Dooku from across the starways or some crap, you know? And he's all like, you gotta find those people, like, you know, what did he say? He was talking to Grievous and told them to go find the witch person because something was happening to him, and he was like, okay. So he stopped what he was doing to go and find the person who was putting him under the spell or whatever, so he could feel all the pain from the voodoo doll and stuff. So I was like, yeah. But yeah, both of them were involved. They were definitely a part of that episode. Oh, her name was like Mother Towson, I think. It's all good, man. I like the way her feet look. They look cool. Oh, if anyone's new here, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you enjoy comics and illustration and seeing someone work through the process of that, be sure to subscribe. I do a video every weekday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, I was thinking about trying out Twitch a bit next week as well. If anyone follows me on social media, when I make sure that, well, when I actually make the, I guess, decision or the figure out the actual day I'm gonna do it on, I will definitely promote it there on social media. I got a tip that it could be a good thing to try out and see if it works out again. So yeah, you can definitely do that and see what happens type thing. I think that looks okay. Ah, okay. Try Discord? What do you mean, you mean like, as far as making a community thingamabobber that people can have access to? Instead of social media? I probably should set up a Discord. I haven't done that yet, though. I mean, well, I have a Discord, but it's mainly just me sharing to myself things that that I don't want to forget about. Here's a random question. Who is you guys' favorite artist right now? Like out there. Like, do you guys have a favorite artist at the moment? Now, what is this line supposed to be near your eye here? Let's look at the physical real quick. Interesting. It's like a line appeared out of nowhere on there. It's not even on the original. Yeah. Does anyone have any favorite artists right now? I think right now, without being biased about artists that I already know that I like. Alright, firework people. You got it. But, Mike Mignana. That's how I was taught to pronounce his name. Mike Mignana. He's freaking awesome. There's a very unique style in which he does, comics. And, yeah, Hellboy is awesome. I haven't actually read all of it. I actually own just Volume 1, and other than that, I haven't actually gone further. I think I maybe have checked out Volume 2, but yeah, I haven't actually made it very far into Hellboy. Still like it, and I hear that his style progresses where he gets, I guess, less detailed over time. So Hellboy Volume 1, Seeds of Destruction is probably the most detailed. It's probably the most detailed Hellboy comic or volume. Hey Tavon, you good, man? I don't think I had anything to do with that, man. Some people need a break from social media, man. It happens. But I hope you're doing well. Sean Gordon Murphy. I think, yeah, Sean Gordon Murphy. Um, I'm actually not as familiar with his work, but I have a decent library of artists in my head. Um, this guy has a really cool style. He's ink a lot. His inks look really nice on his work. I think he worked on something Tokyo something. Sean Gordon Murphy. Let's see here. Yeah, he worked on Batman Black and White. I remember this guy. And he worked on something Tokyo something. What is it called? Aided Hellblazer. Could have swore he had this. I'm looking it up. There he goes. Tokyo Ghost. Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty freaking good. I haven't actually read anything that he's really worked on other than Batman Black and White, which I think I've seen. But yeah, I'm definitely familiar with the art style. I'm memeing, going to miss her though. Understandable. Punk rock, Jesus. That's the thing he worked on? That sounds interesting. I think right now my favorite American artist would have to be Pepe Larraz. Um, if that is how you pronounce his name, I actually never went to go check that up. But he's the guy working on House of X, Powers of X, and also the latest X-Men, or what's it called, Giant Size X-Men. Uh, he's just really good. That's not even a good description, I guess. But him and I like his work a lot. I also like Daniel Warren Johnson. He worked on this really cool Wonder Woman joint, and he also worked on he's working on what's the name of this comic? Beta Ray Bill. He's working on a Beta Ray Bill adaptation. I think he's writing it and drawing it, and that's really cool. I haven't caught up with it. I think I maybe have checked out issue 1 or something like that, but yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, I think it was called Dead Earth or something like that. It was really cool. I think, I guess a third artist would be someone like Peach Momoka. I like her work. It's pretty good. I really like how she seems to have some form of control over her watercolor works. And these are kind of like comic people, technically, right? So there's other, obviously, artists out there who do different types of things that I could put on that list. But yeah, these are kind of like the 3 people I've been kind of like checking on to see what they're up to consistently in the comic field at the moment. Yeah. You love his stuff on Dead Earth? Yeah, Dead Earth was really freaking cool. I was not expecting to get that type of Wonder Woman. I think that was really unexpected. Okay. Yeah, brutal for sure. Yeah, it was definitely had some really good brutal moments to it. Um, Daniel Warren Johnson seems to definitely be it's like a hybrid. Like he definitely likes manga, and he definitely likes comics. And when he does fight scenes, you can definitely see he taps into his manga influence more. But the only problem with that is the way American comics is kind of built for story beats. Even if he's writing the story himself, he's got to always be doing so much with the plot that you can't really get heavy into a fight. Fights are usually short and sweet in American comics. Unfortunately, you can't have a fight that happens for like 3 chapters or something like that. You can hardly have a fight that happens for multiple chapters. I mean, for multiple like pages consistently. Like fights don't fights don't last very long in comics. Interesting. Major Akira influence you can see in his work? Hmm. It definitely could be possible there, too. Definitely. I was really excited when he got into a comic called Tough, or a manga called Tough. Uh, I love that comic. It's definitely a part of the reason why I feel like I understand comic book fight scenes. Um, and I'm pretty sure his fight scenes probably got even better. But also really love the way he does like commissions for people. He does commissions that aren't just like pinups. He actually draws like a moment. Almost kind of like it's a really good understanding of like, okay, here's what I would do if got to work on this property or something. I think that's really unique and different. Like he had this one that was a Star Wars related one, and it was the moment where Darth Vader picks up Palpatine and gets ready to throw him down the shaft, the little joint that he supposedly dies in, right? But when he did it, he didn't make like he didn't make the characters really big. He made the background really big, like very similar to how I guess Otomo might do it, right? Where he's making a big deal about the moment and the environment that they're in, right? And if you zoom in, you'll see Darth Vader picking this guy up. But you don't have to necessarily zoom in. The moment is kind of explained through the shadow. Because, like, the light source that's behind them, I think it's like, what is it like? It's farther away from their head. So that the shadow for the characters is huge, going across this cylindrical thing underneath of them. It's just really, it looks really cool. Yeah, if you have a chance to look it up, you'll see what I'm talking about. But like, it really made an impression on me. I'm like, yo, this is so cool. This is not like a pin-up illustration style thing. It's more of like here's what I would do if I could draw this comic, and this was the moment I got to draw. Like, it's really freaking cool. So I think for the most part, I like what some of these line work, what some of the line art looks like at this point. Almost done cleaning it up. Don't want to clean it up too much, so I'm okay with some of the roughness here. Kind of keep a part of it in there. I just want to clear up some of these edges here and there. Stuff like this. Sending you something. Check IG. Okay. Well, she looks awesome. Is it like a fantasy story? Yeah, this looks nice. Good lighting. I assume it's a character for. I don't know if you said you're working on a comic. I think you said so. But this looks nice. Yeah. It's urban fantasy. Oh, nice. So I'm not used to that. I'm not used to urban fantasy. I'm used to people just being full-on fantasy or something like that. Not a good or bad thing necessarily. It's just. It's always good to know that there's a variety of things out there. Like, you know it, but you don't really know it until you see it consistently. Oh, okay, you can't see it because this is here. So that will be, yeah, it probably got cut off. Okay. A part of me wants to, like, ink some of these things on here, but at the same time I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. But I do want to do the outline. You can always do both. Yes, yes. I've actually seen people go about doing a certain thing where what they'll do is kind of like they'll draw and ink something on the computer, and then they'll go ahead and print that out and like use markers or something on it, and their line work is basically already done. You know, they don't have to ink it anymore because it's already inked. And I think that's cool. You know, some people who buy your artwork are there for the colors and there to get, you know, something original from you. So I can understand that. I have been drawing a bunch, but I haven't actually inked anything in some time. Do a digital I can speak, I swear. Do a digital test run? Yeah, I'm about to do that. It's still funny to me that I used to do so much traditionally, actually. And I was really about to start taking inking more seriously. And I was just like, you know, if I ever needed to like get in the industry or something like that, like the comic book industry, I'd probably want to be an inker to some degree. I don't know, I just feel like that would be a more manageable job to me than trying to, you know, draw the pages and stuff like that. But here's the funny part. As soon as I started taking inking more seriously, I stopped inking. Like, I bought materials. You're like, where's the joke? I'm like, it's just funny how things work out. I improved my pencil technique, basically, and then I stopped using ink because my pencil technique was good enough for me to kind of edit like how I just did in front of you, uh, to get this type of quality. And then I was just like, you know, I would say my friend the Kaino Nut and some other influences kind of really drove it home for me, because I was like, wait, if like my friend's quality is acceptable and I like their stuff already, and I also kind of like what I'm doing, I'm almost inking just because it's it's like it's like what you do, right? Like it's in your head, it's what you do, but like no one really cares. They just want good artwork. Then I'm doing something I don't need to do, and I'm already kind of, yeah, not much brain power. I'm already kind of doing what I want as far as like keeping an original somewhere. Like having an original is what I really want in the end, at the end of the day. Do I get that? Yeah, I do. So why do I need to ink? I don't. So I stopped doing it. And I love ink. Like I actually love doing it. I love using it, and I think it's really really cool. Um, but at the same time, I gotta start figuring out more ways that I can kind of automate and kind of um, I don't know, make things better for myself work wise. Yeah, that's why you started painting. Why'd you start painting though? Painting is a lot of work. A lot of this stuff is actually already decent. Let me make sure I'm only doing stuff I really need to be doing. Anything that needs something. So you can do your own concept work. I understand that, like digital concept paintings and stuff like that. Yeah. I usually think about doing stuff like that, but I usually just do like rough sketches. Like I don't really like do enough when it comes to color these days. I want to, but what I've been trying to get to is like a simple form of coloring. Even though the thing that I love to do with my markers is blend, actually. But then I started realizing that I'm not trying to blend to the point of realism. I'm just trying to like blend a few things here and there, and like I'm cool. I'm like that's good enough. Um, I think the thing that I really like about art, for me, is like a striking design. Um, Something that stays with you. Something about people's faces or something like. I really like what's his name? Katsuya Terada's faces in his art. They always look very striking. Like if it was like a combination, it'd be like imagine like Takehiko Inoue's like faces along with Terada's faces. Like those are some of my favorites because um, Inoue's faces have these little nuances to them that make these characters really feel alive. And then you have my bad, not Katsuhiro. Katsuya Terada's faces, it's I guess it's really in the eyes, but like the eyes look very striking. The lips are full. It tells you what age or whatever the character is. The faces have a certain amount of tangibility to it, right? Like it's almost like he sculpted them. There's like these little There's these little wrapping lines that go around surfaces, right? These little like wrapping lines. If this is like the eye and everything, like there's always these little understandings of like form and these little indications of things, you know. And I really like that. But yeah, I really like that. I think that that's really cool, and I usually like the look or the feeling that the eyes give off. Um, I don't know, and I'm okay sometimes when characters are looking at the camera, but I feel like a character consistently looking at the camera is very pin-up like, and I don't always like that. I like when Inoue draws characters because they're not always looking towards the camera. They do, what is it called, a candid shot, if you will, and I like those way more than anything. Though sometimes I'll just do a pin-up like thing like how I have in this picture. Building up your own IP on a book on the side, and you're practicing. Oh, you said cell shading will work with your work. Yeah, that's. I'm actually doing something that's not cell shading. I swear I can talk. I'm actually doing something that's not cell shading. I'm doing something called. I've been practicing something called flat shading actually. Not trying to go for an anime feel. It's not actually the look I go for. I'm going for something that looks more like Marvel vs. Capcom 2. A little bit. In that direction. I don't completely, perfectly jive with that style completely. Because I actually like graphic elements like, I guess, black shading. So, actually, that's another style, supposedly. Like how they have cell shading, they have black shading, where you actually, I guess it looks more like a red line or something like that, where you just use actually black for the shades, for shadows, and then you also have flat shading, where you're not necessarily trying to blend things, but you're picking like a flat brush and you're kind of going around and you can add multiple like layers of like levels of shadows, but you wouldn't necessarily blend them too harshly. So I'm trying to combine both of those for myself and trying to get something out of that. I think the other thing is just knowing that inking is not some easy job, man. It's very difficult, actually. To people on the outside looking in, or who are looking at, I would say, bad inkers, you might think that um, inking is really just kind of tracing lines. And I guess to some people that is what it is, but it's really not. There's an artistry to it, and as I've been watching a lot of inkers, you actually have to draw. You have to be able to draw in order to ink well. You have to know. You have to be able to read and understand and how to translate someone's style into uh, something graphically manageable. And you also have to have like your own approach. You have to have your own understanding of what you think you should do in this area. Um, Sometimes someone can hand you something, and it'll be up to your discretion how you handle how that shadow should feel, what type of lines or mark mark making you use to describe that area, and it won't be in a line form. It'll just be like, okay, this is a shadow. All right, cool. Like, based on what you think, what do you want to do here? And it'll be really up to you. And if you actually have to make that thing appealing for yourself. You can't just trace. It doesn't work. And that's why you draw those X's. Yeah, you can definitely still rely on those X's, but that just means fill it with black. What happens when it's something like, yeah, but what happens when it's something like, how you say, let me think. It could be an area as simple as, trying to think. Cause see, even people like what's his name, Jim Lee, when he turns in a page, there's some stuff that's really freaking light, and even if there are X's there, sometimes there's something there that's like up to the inker's discretion. Something like that could be as simple as how you the inker handle doing facial hair. Yo, you could do it with the same tool you use everything else with. You could use like something else. Like you like sometimes it's, you know how people don't draw every blade of grass, right? Sometimes it's pencilers who just put some indication of some lines and just be like, all right, cool. Like you fill in the rest. Like it's up to you, inker. Haha. And you just be like, whoa, like, all right, what tool do I want to use? How do I want to go about filling the space properly? Like actually is up to you. Like also when it comes to some, it could be anything. It could be like some sort of surface that is supposed to be something. You'd be like, yo, this is supposed to be metal, but it's supposed to be bent. And the artist did a decent job, but they also left this space or this part not clear enough. But they feel like, I can handle it. What they're saying is they're leaving that up to you, how you handle that. Yep, it's not always one-to-one, and sometimes an artist is not going to have all the time in the world to give you perfectly clean art all the time. Like, that's the other hard part of that job, right? You, as an inker, finish off that art, and then you have to pass that art along to the colorist. If there is a book that you guys are working on, and the penciler has to do his job or their job, and they get done with a certain part, right? And then they go, okay, someone has to take this work and now ink it because I have to do more pages or something, right? Then they have to hurry up and give it to you, and then you have to give it to the colorist, and then the colorist got to hurry up and finish it before the end of the month. So it's not always, like, I would say the first 5 pages are going to be the best well-drawn pages in that book. Everything beyond the first 5 to 7 pages in that book are going to start getting less detailed here and there because time needs to move faster, Time has to be a factor. So you're always trying to keep up with that and get your deadlines met. And because of that, you can always assume that not necessarily a problem will arise, but more so, quality is going to change depending on how much time you have to work on anything. Which is why, not everything's going to be as one-to-one as far as that transaction goes, I'd say. Yeah, to tell an inker where to fill in the blacks. Yeah. Yes, deadlines. Deadlines everywhere. Deadlines are. I don't know. Deadlines kind of like are the bane of the existence of everything, and yet also it's how the industry is made to stay on time on everything. This is why you're glad you're independent. It may be harder, but you can control the quality of the work. Yeah. Um, Being independent, well, it's pretty obvious it has its perks. Um, Definitely. Um, yeah. I mean, you care more about the quality of the work overall since it's your work when it's, it's your book that you're working on. It's more of a bigger deal when you're definitely working on your own work. You want it to be good and clean and all that good stuff. But the whole thing is like, you can skip processes by working by yourself because you know what you meant usually. You know what that thing is supposed to be. Other people might not, but if like you can throw in something sketchy, but you know what that means on that sketch. You know how that stuff translates because you have your own uh, lingo, visual lingo that you go by, and everyone else doesn't need to know that. But when you're working on a team, yeah, it's going to consistently change how you work. You're going to have to figure out how other people work and how they go about doing things. But yeah, definitely consider it being an inker. I haven't even done enough tests to like really check, but I still think it's funny that I was all like gathering tools and materials. Because again, I don't. The reason I was considering inking was because I enjoy inking already. Like I enjoy it. Not saying I'm the best or not saying I'm even that good. I'm just saying I can enjoy it. I can ink for hours and be like, man, I'm enjoying this. This is turning out cool. Going over line work and figuring out where I can pause and stop here and leave this little divot and do this part and there's this other little divot. Like I enjoy that. That's kind of cool for me. But there is something I learned while looking it up. Hold on. You can understand your own thumbnails. Yes, you can understand your own thumbnails, but your thumbnails need to be a lot cleaner. Like your thumbnails. I don't even know if you could turn in thumbnails to somebody else. I think what you'd have to do is turn in almost storyboards, if not storyboards. You can't turn in no darn thumbnails and go, "Is this good?" Like, good luck. Like, no, it's not. I feel like the only people I've seen who can read other people's thumbnails are like manga artists or something. Because their editor will come through, and since their editor has been working with them and working with a lot of other artists who has to hurry up and churn out thumbnails and stuff like that, and then they get those thumbnails reviewed and stuff like that. They've been told no like 5 to 6 times during a week before they're allowed to work on a page. I mean, work on a chapter. Yeah, man. Like you'd be fire, lol. Nah. But like the only people could do that is like those editors in Japan, I guess, who consistently look at people's unfinished art. They can tell what's supposed to be happening, Like maybe those guys, right? But that's a whole different type of comic regiment that they have going on. And yeah, nah, what most people want is nice, clean art that they could pass around the office, I assume, and be like, yo, what you think? Is this good or whatever? And if they can't tell what it is, then they can't consider it. So you got to put in extra work. And a lot of comic book artists actually do that. If you've ever seen a comic book artist's like scribbles for a chapter or whatever, it looks relatively clean compared to like what we would even consider a scribble, like you know. And then you have, if you've ever seen a manga artist's uh roughs, man, you don't see, like, bro, it'd be like this. It'd be like, all right, here's the page, right? Here's the main character, and it'll be like this. There you go. You know he's facing forward, and guess what? You know he's happy. And panel 2. He's standing there in front of giant castle. And now the castle is just, yeah, look, this is it. This is it, right? Oh, the door open. Castle door open, and you have, you know, really big sound effects or something right there. There you go. That's good enough. That, and people can read this in, like, as far as your editor could go, right? But you turn this in to like an American company, they're gonna be like, yo, what's happening? You sure this guy can draw? It's like, yeah, but they're trying to hurry up and get started on the chapter, and this is like perfect. I've seen in the book called what's it called, Manga in Theory and Practice. I own this book. Manga in Theory and Practice by Hirohiko Araki. He kind of explained the difference between how American comic book artists go about doing their storyboards or thumbnails and stuff like that versus, well, like, you know, the difference between them. And he kind of showed what his look like, and what I just showed you, very similar. Like, he sometimes doesn't draw out an expression. He'll just write what the expression is on the guy's face. Literally, it'll be like, yo, this dude's surprised. All right, cool. And they were saying that, one, it's faster if someone can read this and understand what's happening. The storytelling bits are all there. The details don't matter because you already know the person can draw, and you already know what their finished quality is going to look like. So you don't need to judge such a thing based off of how well drawn it is. Two, it just saves so much time. And you can get that done very quickly. And if people approve it, then you can hurry up and actually put a lot of skill and effort into the actual rough drafts that will eventually get, you know, finished and inked and put to print. But basically, they can read those things and be just like, yo, this is good, or yo, this is bad. Which means you can create a bajillion thumbnails at that level. And always, like, you'll probably get more frustrated creating thumbnails like that than you will be when you finally get to draw the page at all, because, yeah, it can be very hectic. I've heard some accounts from people in Japan. One of my favorite artists that I followed is Felipe Smith. He created a manga in Japan called Pipochu. And I've been following this guy for years. He's a really good artist. I think he's a pretty decent storyteller as well. And he's still probably the only person who went to Japan, worked there as a manga artist, not an assistant or anything like that, and did it for years and years and years. Who's from America, I would say. Um, I know there's someone who became an assistant there under the Prince of Tennis author. I forget her name. She's awesome too. But yeah, I learned some things from that guy. He was talking about this type of stuff in an interview. You can definitely find this stuff on YouTube. But he was explaining kind of what it was like working there, and how difficult it was to like produce certain things over there. They just go about it differently. They go about doing comics differently, and that's what you got to keep in mind if you wanted to ever go over to Japan and work for a Japanese manga company. Comics are just considered differently there. But it doesn't seem like it's a very healthy thing to do. Definitely considering all the problems that that industry's been having. The anime and manga industry, despite they know how to make money. That hasn't been their problem. The problem has been how unhealthy the practice of how hard they make the artists work to achieve like a living is. So, yeah. Yeah, but even then, thumbnails are so clean. Yeah, thumbnails can be really clean, but they gotta be readable. And unfortunately, you gotta be a certain type of person to be able to read thumbnails well. And that's why I was saying, like, they could take that in Japan because your editor is reading a bajillion people's work too. He's probably working with you and 2 to 3 other people. And he's probably, used to seeing what, artists chicken scratch look like, you know, and he can tell what you drew. Underpaid, overwork. Um, it's not even underpaid, overworked. Like, it's like, how about? Can I say underpaid? I wouldn't say underpaid in Japan. I would say like well paid, like standard pay, overwork. Not even underpay, overwork. It's like our overwork, but like imagine that times a lot more. But then like it being normal, so you'd feel bad even about complaining about it because that's like how it is. It's like, how can you complain? This is how our industry is. What are you gonna say? This is wrong or tough or whatever? It's like, okay, all right. Even if it is. But like, I think that's the thing, right? Like, people can't complain if everyone else is going through it, right? Like, who are you gonna talk to about it? That's what I was thinking about just hearing all of it. I was just like, man, like, who could you possibly talk to about something like that? If everyone is going through it. I don't know. It's not healthy. It's not a good practice. It's not good practices for people making a comic. Um, Even if it's good. Have you ever seen the schedule? If you have you ever looked up manga schedule type thing and like try to think about how you'd be able to like navigate it? I'm about to look it up right now and post it in chat, the one I'm talking about. Okay. So this is, yeah, I don't think I have some kind So here's a picture of. Oh yeah, you seen those? Yeah, right. This is the person who worked on I think it was called Rise of the Yokai Clan. I think that's this person who put this up. And this was this person's schedule. And like, yeah, look, from what I can tell, the more popular you get in Japan, the harder your schedule becomes. And man, that's just, I don't know. It's difficult to see and know about. And I don't think your pay necessarily changes that much. That's the other part of that I was shocked by. It's like, come on, like what's happening? But yeah, like imagine trying to function off of that. Your world is your comic at that point. As much as I love manga and anime and all that good stuff, the more older I get, I'm like, man, it's kind of a lot, man. Like, when Eiichiro Oda said that at one point he was only getting 3 hours of sleep a week, I was like, yeah, that had to be a typo. And I still hope that that's a typo. Still to this day. Still to this day, I'm like, man, that had to be a typo. That had to be a translation error. There's no way this person could be getting 3 hours of sleep a week or something. Like, I don't think the human brain be able to function like that. And then recently he's like, yeah, I'm doing well. I'm able to get sleep like 4 hours of sleep a night now. And I'm just like, alright, man. Like, I don't know what's happening over there. But like, man, I've seen so much documentation on like manga artists and stuff. There's not enough out there, honestly. But I don't think they talk about their schedule too much. Like, ever. It's not, like, consistently out there for you to, like, really think about. But, I remember when I saw the Tezuka documentary and how, you know, Tezuka was producing a lot of work. Like, there was even a part in the documentary where the Super Guru sleep time. Oh man, ugh. There was a part in the documentary, right, where Tezuka was speaking about how, like, the whole documentary was about Tezuka, and he was running around doing a bunch of work, you know, and talking with his staff and stuff like that. Then they put the camera on like some of his editors or something at the time, and they was just like, you know, it's hard to talk to him because he's a veteran, but he's always late. And I was in my head like, what do you mean he's always late? He's always creating work. And I was just like, maybe I'm off on thinking something's wrong here, but what do you mean he's always late? And then it got to the end of the documentary, right? He's like, yo, like I made my deadline, I got it done, I'm happy. And then the interviewer guy who was holding the camera is all like, so you done, right? Like you done, right? Like you good? And he's like, he stretches and he grabs an envelope off to the side. He pulls it out and he takes the paper out and he looks at the cameraman and he says, I'm working on a one shot. I've got to do 32 pages by tomorrow morning. And I was just sitting there like, yo, what's happening? Like, are you serious right now? Like, first of all, that's cool and all that he's doing a one shot, but why 32 pages by tomorrow morning, bro? I don't even think his assistants were involved. They were like in the other room helping to work on the other joint. I don't think they're about to help him with his one shot. So he's about to do 32 pages by himself in the middle of like the night or whatever to complete it by tomorrow. Alright, like I was just like, yo, this is crazy. Like, either people in Japan love comics more than I do or something, or I would say the creators are very much driven, right? I feel like some people in Japan draw comics like almost like it's like all they got to live for or something, or maybe they feel like, I don't know. Maybe they feel like that's just a legacy they want to leave behind, or maybe it's just normal to work that much or to work that hard. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't have the answer. I'm not gonna think harder about it as far as like making a decision about what type of people or anything like that. I'm just saying, uh, they do work very hard and they create a bunch of things. I don't necessarily think it's healthy, but it's not like they don't know that. So I don't know. If anything, what are you saying here? That's like a page an hour, or maybe two. Uh, yeah, but like, it's like, for like every hour in the day, right? This guy's about to do that. Like, he didn't sleep yet. He just finished, like in the documentary, he had just finished the deadline. He'd already was up all night. So now he's gonna stay up the rest of the night and do 32 pages. If my calculations will be anywhere near correct, if he just finished, right? Like, it's daytime right now, right? He just finished the deadline. I assume it's actually the morning, right? That means he's about to stay up and finish and like do 32 pages from start to finish. Those pages he pulled out were blank. They had nothing on them. So he's about to literally sit there and put stuff pen to paper and just do 32 pages. That's... I understand he had a more simplistic art style, but still, it's a lot of... I would say people who have more simplistic art style have to do a lot more when it comes to storytelling. Because they have to actually have something there for people to really, get into. Because other people can go to someone with a more realistic art style or something and be like, ooh, look how pretty it is, or ooh, look how, I don't know, realistic it is or something. They actually can like do that. They don't have to necessarily work as hard storytelling wise. But you have a simplistic storyline or style, you achieve something by that, but you also lose something. Same thing with the other way around. Simplistic art style, usually really good with exaggerating expression, because it's something you can do. You can exaggerate expression with realism, but I think it's less aesthetically pleasing or something. You can make a what is it called? A more simplistic style, more exaggerated, and make it more pleasing when you can do that in a simplified art style than you can in a realistic art style. Yeah, every line must count. I honestly think about manga that way a lot. Though it's not an all-around thing. It doesn't fit every single thing with like this type of thought. But I always think when I look at the manga that I enjoy, when I was trying to really get good consistently, I was doing anything I could to figure it out. I was like, yo, I'm about to count how many lines this person put down for the face. Like, how many lines does it take for them to draw a face? Like, yo, like, how many lines could I do that in? Like, how simple can I make this process for myself? I think that it still works. I didn't find that process bad at all. I just was really trying to get good. But yeah, you start realizing that some people's styles are definitely a little bit more simplified than others, and because of that, they can achieve a certain thing. Like, I always think of like Toriyama. Like, it's still funny to me how like Toriyama's art style is aesthetically pleasing. And I guess I can look at Kishimoto and Eiichiro Oda, right? Because I know them a lot, right? I don't, no hate to Bleach at all. I'm just not. I didn't get as far into Bleach, so yeah. But I look at both of like all three of those guys, and I go, okay. First comes Dragon Ball, and Dragon Ball has this really cool simplistic style, and it's very appealing. I think it's appealing because Toriyama was trying to appeal to children at first with his Dr. Slump run. He had style and these big-headed kids, and he also had yeah, this little girl character and everything was very round. Um, is my stream okay? Am I losing any frames? I hope it's okay, because I see that this thing is loading. But anyway, I'm gonna keep talking. Um, and because he had that really roundness to his style, everything became very cute and simplified and all that stuff because of that. Um, Other than that, then you have like someone like Kishimoto. Kishimoto came in there with a more realistic style of things, and because his style was more realistic, as far as like his character proportions, I would say that that changed things up. But he still used some of the same tricks that Toriyama had. Where, hold on, I'm gonna check this connection. It's really loading over here. Is it? Interesting. Okay. But yeah, everything's fine. But yeah, basically, Kishimoto had this more realistic style, and it was because of his proportions. His proportions were nice, but he still used the same type of graphic understanding that he learned from, I would say, Dragon Ball and some other influences. And I think that's dope. And even Eiichiro Oda followed suit with that understanding of things. But I feel like Eiichiro Oda's work is more detailed than Dragon Ball was, actually. It has a lot more detail here and there. There's a lot of characters on the screen all the time. There's a lot of, what is it called? Hatching and stuff like that. Everywhere on all the characters and stuff like that. And he's also doing the exaggerated expression stuff. And yeah, by proxy, I would say Kishimoto doesn't express drastically or whatever like that with his characters because his proportions are more realistic. But that doesn't mean he couldn't. He just didn't. From what I remember, I seen someone show me some pictures from Golden Kamuy, and the artist for Golden Kamuy is really good, and they do expressions really well. If you haven't seen their art, check that out. I didn't know. I didn't know that the expressions for Golden Kamuy were that good. It's really dope. Yeah, I think this is coming out okay. Gonna go ahead and do the lightsaber joints on a different layer. I think I'm gonna use the line tool as well. I have it available. This isn't the line tool, is it? It could be, but it's not. I'm gonna just use it for an outline, actually. Kind of just go directly around it. Should I go inside? Maybe I should go inside instead. That way, it's not yeah, I feel like that's better. Why did I put that there? Okay. Grab my pen tool. See what time it is. Alright. About 30 minutes. Hope everyone's doing okay. Alright. Oh, if anyone's new here, be sure to subscribe to the channel. It can help out a lot. I do this every weekday, Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you like comics and you also like illustration, be sure to check out the channel. But yeah, I also will be trying out Twitch next week sometime. Try and see what that's like over there. I haven't been to Twitch in a good while, actually. Alright, so time for this part. So I think for the most part, what I want is here. So I'm going to make another layer. And what color should I pick? I'm gonna pick this gray. I'm gonna go ahead and pick the wand tool. Why isn't the wand tool over here? That could be useful. Now it is. Okay, thank you. So now I'm gonna start selecting everything that is not certain line work. Well, What I'm gonna actually end up doing is reversing the selection and just actually no, I'm probably gonna fill in the background with the gray. That way I'll single out the character art. And of course this picture is huge, so yeah, had a little trouble there. 1200 DPI. So I see that I need to erase that there, but I'll come back to it. I have to look around for anything that didn't make it in. I think for the most part that's everything. Just realized that the layer that was made was actually monochrome. Why? Okay. Cool. Now I'm gonna fill in the rest with something else before I destroy my computer or something. Okay, and it's on normal, it's supposed to be on multiply. Alright, for the most part, yeah. I think it's looking pretty cool. I can definitely tell I didn't ink these over here on the right hand side of this. It's about this one. Yep. Alright. Gonna erase these. Go back here, back to this color. I think the cool thing is also by doing it this way, I can also select everything on this layer, and like I said, I can kind of invert the selection, and by being able to do that I can also select the character art that way. So I'm going to just show you. guy is what I'm talking about. And go right here, this little part. I don't actually know what the heck this is called, but there's this little square that usually has a little checkered part that usually shows you what's on this layer at all. I really feel like they should make that bigger or clearer, but whatever. So yeah, I'm gonna right click there, go ahead and go to create selection from layer. It's gonna make a selection whenever that shows up, right? Screen's gonna go black again, and then boom, we got the selection right there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go to invert selected area. I'm gonna go to a new layer and make sure it's on multiply as usual, and then I'm going to fill it with color. I'm gonna go with red. And now, whenever I need to, if I were to be like painting this, let me turn this off. If I were to be like painting this digitally, I'd be able to consistently stay on my character art and also separate my background from my character art. Yeah. So that's cool. So that means that I can like, I feel this is called, but that's not what it's called. What is it? Use it as a clipping mask if I wanted to. So basically, yeah, I can separate all the stuff from background, all that good stuff, if I were to completely paint this out. So yeah, that's as far as I'll take that one for today. All right. Here's a sneak peek at the all the other ones that I'm working on right now. Here's the Ahsoka Tano one that I've been working on. Really like this character. And everyone, I don't know, I tried to pick a scene that I don't think a lot of people had drawn. It's one of the scenes from the last season. And it's this very specific moment that I freeze framed. Where it's an Order 66 moment, but if you know it, you know it. But yeah, I like this moment a lot, and yeah, I went with this, and I picked this shot because I don't think a lot of people were doing it, and I thought the shot was cool. They always draw Ahsoka in a very squat-like position, kind of like in a fighting position type thing, but in this part, she was kind of like spinning quickly and twirling her lightsabers, blocking things, and I wanted to kind of show off that moment a bit. So yeah, that's looking alright. Then we have this picture here, it's Battle Angel Alita joint. Same techniques I've been using, all pencil right now. This is actually, yeah, it's pencil. I just darkened it consistently with the Photos app. Because Photos is actually a really cool app. I don't know, it's pretty good. Then I have the Vilma joint, Karula from Battle Angel Alita also. Love this character. Probably one of my favorite women characters in manga history, like in fiction. How she fights and how she's as good as she is actually makes sense. Like I'm almost started, like because of this character, I'm starting to like, I'm looking at other characters who authors haven't done enough work to portray that character's abilities, and just being like, nah, I don't believe you. Like I get that you made the effort to like say that that's their ability, but like I'm gonna go with the character who past, present, and future has been shown to demonstrate this technique of being as good as she is, and like why she is as good as she is, and just be like, yeah, I'm gonna go with the person who creators put in a lot more work and effort to make that character as believable and as consistently dangerous or something like that as the work they put in. Because like this character, man, she's really cool. Yeah, I'll cycle back through. Because I too am kind of a fan of my own work at this point. It took a long time to get there, but I like it. This one isn't as dark as the other ones yet, but I'll get there. think it's because I did that one first. I did Vilma next, and I'll get back to it. Oh, here's an easy way to like darken work, right? You can literally just duplicate it if you've already cleaned it. If you've already cleaned it, you can duplicate it. Turn that on to like multiply. You can do that multiple times if you'd like to, but I actually don't like the way this is looking right now like that. Because I know I didn't put enough effort into darkening everything, so it's going to get more rough than it's going to get dark. But the other drawings I was working on feel like I put a lot of effort into the darkness of things. I put these lines very close together, so it's easier to darken them as time went by, and I just kept upping the layer joints, laying on top of each other. But yeah, I like these a lot. I still love this. I love this character. She's so cool. Alright. And we have what? Oh, we have 10 minutes left. It's still fine. It's fine. Comics. Let's do it. And I got a message. Let's see what it is. But yeah, we talked about this a bit yesterday. So, geez, I'm really out of juice. Let me get something to drink. Also, you guys stay hydrated. Get something to drink as well, please. Okay. So we cleaned up a bunch of this stuff here, finally. Worked on a bunch of this stuff yesterday to kind of get it to like a final place to some degree. What I want to work on with you guys today in the last 10 minutes is just figuring out exactly where would we put sound effects on here. I want this to feel like a scene-in part, or I guess for reference sake, like if you've ever gotten to the part where in Vagabond characters like walking through the mountain area, or a mountain area for that matter, it doesn't matter where, in that manga, just walking through a mountainous area, or if you've ever read Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, if you've ever seen that or check that out, it kind of means I don't want there to be an abundant amount of sound here, except for the nature part. So if there is a certain amount of sound effects here, I want it to be like, okay, I'm sorry, I'm kind of like rambling. I'm trying to make a point, I guess. What I'm trying to do is make this a moment for the characters that are experiencing it, right? I want you, the reader, to feel what they feel. So the things that stick out to them are what's going to stick out to you. And it's your first time here as well, and it's Halo's first time. This character who's speaking, who I'm speaking through. But yeah, and he's just kind of taking it all in. So I'm trying to figure out what sound effects should I really, prioritize. So I could definitely have wind here or something, blowing the trees, maybe not. So it should be nature type stuff, right? You gotta have like, you have something going this direction. It could be wind or trees. What else? You wouldn't hear anything here. I mean, you would have something here. Where this guy is paddling. So it'll be right there. You would notice that. And this is something else that I do. Even if I don't know exactly what exact If I don't know what exact sound effect to put there, it doesn't matter as long as I know the shape and flow it's gonna have, the feeling it's gonna have. I kind of can put the shape there, and I can kind of put that shape there in like a rectangular form. I don't feel like every single paddle should make a sound necessarily. Eventually it becomes redundant, I guess. So you gotta be careful with that. Glad I thought about that. This to there. So what I should do is this instead. Sorry, this looks probably messy on you guys' end. The good old Dragon Ball sound effect that I remember from my head. How much time do I have left now? I think I did that for about 5 to 6 minutes. Oh, wrong. 2 minutes left. Alright. Let's see here. The good old tup, you know. Usually put this in the pattern of walking to some degree. Actually, whatchamacallit that? I'll put it somewhere else. Don't need any sound effect for that. Nothing there. And that'll about do it for the stream today. Yeah, for the most part. I know that I'm gonna add like some chattering sound effects here, sound effects of this guy's shoes going past or whatever. Right, and I'm gonna put that stuff there. For the most part, yeah, it's not like a very noisy chapter. There's not like a crazy abundance of like sounds and stuff like that, but there are some. For the most part, I like the beginning of everything. I think it has a decent amount already. So yeah, thanks everyone for coming through. Obviously, we didn't work on the comic as much today, but tomorrow, which should be Friday, we'll finish up on the sound effects and everything, and I guess we'll go over some more illustration stuff. So yeah, check back in tomorrow with me at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If anyone's new here, be sure to subscribe to the channel. It could help out a lot. And if you enjoy comics and illustrations, I do those every weekday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, so thanks for coming by. Also, I will be trying to check out Twitch probably next week. I'll put out some sort of message on social media, I guess throughout the weekend or something like that. So if you follow me there, you'll see, and I'll also talk about it when I can on stream, if I end up streaming here first. I don't know. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Alright everyone, peace.